Welcome back to Heart with me, Shakti Sundari. I'm here in Bali, just about to speak with an amazing woman, Lena Kristina Tuulse, who's from Sweden. Lena is a breathworker. She has creative liberation breathwork. She's a psychologist, a family therapist, a yoga teacher, and encompassing all of that, she refers to herself as a dynamic vehicle for change in people's lives. So welcome, Lena Kristina.
Thank you very much. And it's a real pleasure to be with you. I feel it's so important that we get the message out today of how we can transform our lives and how we can change people's reality to encompass more of the power and more of the health and wellness and happiness that we actually came to this earth to experience, I feel.
Yeah. So you've been doing this for many years, but what I'd love to know is how this got started, because of course what you do now, what you are now, is much more than breath work, although that in itself is huge. How did you start on this path yourself?
I felt separated from people. I didn't feel that I was good enough. I didn't feel that I was really wanted and that I belonged with people. So I felt like I had to fight my way into receiving some kind of acknowledgement for my worth. So I looked for ways of really changing my inner reality. And I think it also started when I was going to give birth. I had been starting the home birth organization in Sweden and the organization for parenthood on a conscious way. So there, in the conscious birthing movement in those days, you learned how to breathe your baby out into the world. So that started me to understand the power of the breath. So I gave birth to both my children at home, and I really felt that when I breathed them out, I opened myself, and that came to be a deep understanding of the power of the breath. And then I met the original teachers of what we call rebirthing, Leonardo, Sundari, Stanislav Grof, Benny Dansby, Anna May Gaskin, when it comes to conscious parenthood, and all these big people, Ken Kais. You know, I was a junkie in finding teachers in the field of awareness, in the field of how to better myself, how to understand myself, and then how I can serve other people on that path.
Right, sure. So were you already working as a psychologist at this point?
I at that point, I worked more like a teacher in physical education. And then I wanted to study more of the psychic, more of the mind, more of also getting a real profession where you are acknowledged as someone that can help people in the field of therapy. So I needed then a PhD for having a credential, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so can you remember your very first experience of breath work in a workshop type setting? So you said you had this opening awareness experience when you gave birth, and you had that aha moment. So then what was your next sort of big encounter with breath work? How did it impact upon you?
If you really want to know about my first breath session, I had been part of setting up a center in Stockholm called Galleri med Mera. And it was like a mecca in those days for people flowing through from all over the world, sharing their knowledge, having workshops, having a little seminar, and it was also an art gallery. And in the cellar there, we built little compartments where people could come and have a one-to-one session in many different fields. And there came these two ladies from America, Peggy Dyland, and they wanted to tell me about breath work and about rebirthing. And we'll give you a session so you will understand.
Yeah.
So I put myself down in the cellar on a mattress, and started to do what they told me, tried to be really doing it the right way. And my mind started like crazy. Oh, here you're laying. It takes such a long time. I wonder what will happen. Oh, I have to remember to call this person. I have to remember to do this. Oh, I have to, oh my God, there's so many things to do. There's so much to do. And here I'm laying, and I just explored the way I was driving myself, my stress. That was actually what I got in touch with the first session, and I didn't understand it first until she could explain what was happening. And I didn't feel that it was something spectacular or that it was worthwhile.
Great, well that's fantastic. So then what was it that drove you to, or called you to continue? If that was your first experience, you could easily have walked away and just thought, well.
Afterward, I felt peaceful. It was like I had explored and experienced all the stress, and at the same time some of it was released. So I felt I was more present, I was more aware, and I got interested. So when they said that we could bring Leonardo to Sweden, and if you want to be part of organizing a workshop, which I did, a 5-day workshop, and in that work we worked in groups of 3. I feel it's very important to have a deep session that gives you understanding also, that you have someone there specifically for you going through the process. That's the highest, that's really what breathwork is about. Not just standing up, breathing, shouting. That frees you. Yes, it frees a lot of things, and you also come into awareness about many things. But I think to be guided on, it's superior. You can go much, much deeper. So in that session, the first one, I had just given birth to my second child, and he was with me there, and my auntie was there to help me with him. He was being breastfed, so I had to have him. I opened up, I would say, to the divinity inside myself. I just felt such a beauty, such a gratitude, such an incredible gratitude to be alive and to be part of this beauty in the world. And that deep, deep feeling that I also could make a difference through teaching people this, that was so strong. So I decided that I would devote my life to teach breath work, among other things. And also, my auntie brought my baby to me straight after that first session. And when I looked into his eyes and saw the depth of this baby's soul, I felt it was a bonding with him that was so amazing. And I feel that that has never let go. We have that forever. Strong, very strong. I can still sort of feel, I can almost get to tears when I think of it. And to accept inside myself that I'm a divine being, and not to neglect that dimension in this secularized world, and find a solution to how we can bring all religions together and know there's one source, whatever we call it, that goes like a creative force through all of universe and through all of creation, and of course we are part.
Well, I'm feeling very moved. I'm really feeling, I'm a physical empath, so I really feel what you're saying. I'd love to ask for those who will watch this, how by simply breathing in a particular way, one can become aware of one's divinity like that. How does that happen?
You know, and this is my belief, I think people could do this even on their own. It's more to be ready to open up to that dimension. But it definitely helps that you are guided by someone that herself or himself has been there, knows how to be able to affirm that inside of you as well, and is willing to accept that for you. You know, we talk so much about love, love, I love you, and of course love is what we are. Love is what it's all about, but it comes in so many different forms. It also comes like a confrontation, like telling someone, stop smoking, stop drugging, stop overeating, take care of yourself, honor the being you are, honor your divinity. Someone that can face what is your path to walk to get to the spiritual enlightenment or whatever we call it. But it's also to be just normal.
Is it possible to do this kind of breath work and not become aware that you're more than just this?
Of course. I mean, everybody has their own path. And for some people it's just a release of tension. For some people it's just a way of suddenly being more, I would say, aware. For some people just to dare to shed a tear and to acknowledge their emotional being. Because there are so many people, they are so perfect, they are so right, they are so controlled, and they are so able to push things aside that don't make them show up in the way they think maybe their parents wanted them to be, or the teachers. And I mean, so much of our behavior and of our thinking is habits.
Yeah. So how does this technique, how does this mechanism work that, because I understand what you're saying, it's a liberation from all of these patterns, these masks, these layers, these habits that we've learned, this conditioning. And simply by breathing, we can unlock and release this. It seems so magical and so simple in a way. How does it work?
I mean, first of all, you need to feel that it's safe for you to open up. That it's among people that in a way is like-minded, or that will allow for you to share certain things emotionally that other people might have judged them for. That they are willing to be with their own breath that long, that they deepen the connection with themselves, that are so present with the breath, that they breathe fully and freely and connect that breath all the way. It's almost, they say, you breathe in your diaphragm, your chest, and all the way up to the top of your head. It's just a picture of it, but it's the full open breath. And some people, they are so repressed in the chest, they have held back. So it's like the body work and the breath work, they are all aiming for opening up your body. And when you open up your body, you open up your emotion, and then you also open up maybe to receive the divinity inside of you. If you want to be humble enough to believe that there is something else but the material world.
You just gave a wonderful brief description. Could you actually talk us through the breathing technique as you teach it?
I could. I could. So if you relax deeply into your body, and it can be laying, it can be sitting, it can be even standing, but I feel standing in a way keeps so much tension still in your body that it's hard to go to these very, very early lifetime experiences, You can actually experience yourself as a baby. I've had people experiencing themselves like being born. When you do this in warm water, in a very safe surrounding, and you have time, because it takes time to go through all these layers. And you do this breathing continuously.
Do you breathe through your nose or your mouth? Does it matter?
You know, every person have their own little trick.
Yeah.
It depends on your own nose and your own mouth in a way. For some people, breathing through your mouth, it puts them deeper in touch with their emotions. It's like they open up this top of the lungs. And they start to feel this very sensitive area inside their throat, and there we hold a lot of crying and a lot of held back emotions, like we swallow it down and we push it down. So this can open all that up. For some people, they get so dry, maybe in breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth might be the right. And they say that the inhalation is active. It's like you've got to put a little strength in there. So you get through these layers of resistance. And then you relax when you exhale.
And I feel that myself, and I know because I teach yoga as well. Like often I can feel there's a bit of a band sometimes, you know, tension across the chest, or the diaphragm feels tight.
Yes.
And it can feel like I'm really stretching something to move beyond this place.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because then you are forcing that maybe chronic holding that you have to keep yourself in balance and keep yourself doing things. Because many times when we concentrate, we stop breathing.
Yeah. And you speak about love so much and the opening of the emotional field as well with this breath. So again, how does it connect us to this experience of love and of heart opening?
As we are so trained in one way to keep ourselves to ourselves in the Western world, you know, here you feel the Balinese people, they are so soft, they are so humble, they are so smiling, they are looking you in the eyes, they are connecting. In the Western world, we are looking away, we're passing each other without acknowledging each other, without seeing each other, and we are so much in a hurry. So we are almost conditioned to not feel with each other. And the love, it's to bring back the connection that you and I are one. And you and I, we belong to the family of man. And you mirror me, I mirror you, and I care for you and you care for me. In the Western world, it's like we have no time for it. So we have to come back almost into a training room to allow to be opening up, to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be received. And that is so strong for some people, just to be seen and to be acknowledged, that they start to cry because they have felt so separated.
Yeah.
And it all started for many people at birth, when the baby was separated from the mother. For many people, maybe for a day or two, or day and night maybe, because they had the focus on taking care of the mother.
Yeah.
And they didn't think the little baby was a feeling, aware being that was sort of imprinted with what was happening at birth. also very many people. I had one woman this morning, and when we were talking about feeling of connection with yourself and feeling about love to yourself, she said, I don't feel that I'm good enough. I don't feel that other people are more and better than who I am. I feel like I'm a fake. I don't feel that I really am part of the others. And I said to my friend, go and rebirth her. Go and give her a session. Because she was in that imprinting that I'm pretty sure started at birth. That's why I felt not really wanted, not really good enough. And I know my mother told me I was born 9 o'clock in the morning, and they took the baby away, and she could hold me in her arms next morning. And you know, then you put in a room with other little babies in little boxes, and they are all separated from their mothers, and the whole being in one way feel they have to relate being separated, whereas they've been cuddled in that womb. They've been one with another body. They have been part of that body's breathing, feeling, moving, and suddenly nothing. That can be chaotic. They can feel totally lost, and it definitely have a strong imprint on your self-value, on your worth, of your experience of being part of the human family and belonging there. So there are whole generations that have to go through this healing again. They're much more aware today. It's a totally different, thanks God.
So this is why you speak about how healing this technique can be for trauma, any kind of trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say that a little warning, you know, it's so fun, and so many people want to do the breath work, and they think it's just to stand up and breathe and have on loud music and jump up and down, and that it is. It's opening, but if you're really dealing with a trauma, you have to know how to counsel a person.
Right, this is what I was going to ask you, because you are also a trained psychologist, and how this has helped you in holding space and in your work, and what it's added to the breath work that you offer.
Yeah. You know, as I have then more, I have maps. I've learned maps for the human growth and for the human psychic and how our mind works. Then I can mirror what's happening. I can understand what they go through, sometimes better than what they can do themselves. So that gives a deeper understanding, which is also base for acceptance. And then it is to really retrain your mind to think different thoughts about yourself, about life. So, and that is what we call affirmation, but you got to sort of also change your way of acting, your way of behaving, your way of how you move yourself in the world to affirm your own value.
You talk about that a little bit in your book, Passion for Life.
Yeah.
Actually, could you tell us a bit more about this book, please? I'd love to know.
You see, I think this is my whole journey. This is why I do what I do. And this is also how I do it. So I would say it's a teaching book, as well as it's a kind of I reveal myself. Yeah. I tell them not only good things, but how my trip has been. So many people, they say they recognize themselves, and by that they are helped in their own understanding of themselves. And it's a lot of also, I would say, affirmative things in there. It gives you a power if you use it to work with yourself.
So it's a personal story, you talk from your own personal experience, and do you offer techniques and practices?
I teach the breath method here, the rebirthing. I tell them how it's supposed in those days to be done, and it can always be modified in many ways. I mean, breath. We do breath in yoga. We do breath in music and in enjoyment. We do breath in our sexuality. Yeah. You would never get an orgasm if you don't breathe, all right?
Yeah.
So that's so dynamic, but then if you can use it as, I would say, the energy fuel for the transformation you need to do.
I'd like to come to something that you just mentioned as you were talking about your book, which is how you speak very personally and you reveal the light and the dark of your own story, because oftentimes when I'm speaking with people like yourself, you know, you are glowing, you are beautiful, you are radiant, you're so inspiring. And people will watch this and they'll say, well, you know, she's got it all figured out, it's all easy for her, you know, to be this. But I would love people to also understand that there is another part to it, that I'm sure you've been through struggles and challenges as well.
Yeah.
You could just speak to that a little bit for us.
I mean, the very last year, if I tell that, I don't need to go back to my teens and so on, but I've had plenty of infection, urinary tract infection for more than half a year. And I have a CLL, chronic lymphatic leukemia. And it has forced me to take certain steps I wouldn't have done otherwise. And yesterday I was with a healer here on Bali, Guru Ketut Arnand, who has the Om Hum Center. And I met him 2 years ago, and he really helped me to align my neck, because I had had an accident in the waves of Hawaii. And after that, I have had no neck problem. So I wanted to go back. So I was there yesterday. And he did, you know, he's very brutal. He goes very deep. He goes to the edge of what you can take. Body work. Yeah. And I breathe. It's so much where he goes in and he corrects things. And he walks on your body. He walks and he stamps, and then he went off my body. And he said, you're a very healthy person and you're strong and feisty. And I said, but I have these problems, I had to this urinary tract. And they say, the day you stop fighting for your life, you are dead. This just keeps you on your toes because you are getting too comfortable. So I think there has been messages in, you know, and I felt low and depressed almost in this infection. So I eaten a lot of antibiotic and I've done everything natural. But I understood the deep message was, get off your comfortable couch. Get yourself back into more of yoga, more of meditation, giving yourself more time with yourself, because you are the healer. You know what to listen to. And if you don't practice what you teach, you are a fake. So today, no urinary tract infection. And you know that CLL, it's so silent, it doesn't really bother me. But it got me to sell my treatment center, to sell my workshop center, to stop the work that I was doing in those days, because I needed to come back to me. And now I'm ready to conquer the world again, to go out and travel and teach and share what I have to give.
Can I ask a personal question?
Absolutely.
How old are you?
I will be 74 next week.
Next week?
Yes,
Wow,
next week.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Super inspiring.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, you're talking this change again. There's this constant sense of growth, expansion, newness.
Yeah.
What is next on the horizon for you now?
I really want to put a place in Sweden called Life University to be a real healing place. I started a foundation 22 years ago, because I thought that if I don't own the place, it will be much easier for people to add their value and be part of building it up. I don't feel I have succeeded. I put a lot of time and money and effort into it, but it's used as a camp for some youth trainings. I do my trainings there, and some people, they rent it for weddings and for little parties, but it could be so much more. And that's my desire to give a little bit more energy to. And then I want to travel and teach. Yeah.
Okay. Just as a closing question, I always ask this of our guests. If you had one thing you could share with everyone who's watching this, or one message from your whole life journey, which has been so rich, and you've had the gift of witnessing so much change and transformation in yourself and so many others, what would you love a person who's watching this at home to know or to hear from you?
This is big and important. You know, I think that if you can stay with truth, that is a daily guidance for you to be truthful, to be simple, and to be loving. I've seen so much unhappiness actually happen due to that people have not been willing to be true to themselves and to see their own behavior. So many people go through unnecessary divorces because they have a picture of what love is, and that it's going to be brought to them from another person. I mean, falling in love is easy. Staying in love is changing your whole way of being, because it requires you working with yourself, and it requires you being willing to love another person for better and for worse. You know, I have had chapters in my life when I've been falling in love with someone else than my husband, and he has fallen in love with someone else than me, and we've been questioning, are we really the right people for each other? It feels so much stronger over here, and it feels so much more right over here. But we've been looking at this. We have been working through it, and I must say I'm so grateful. I'm so incredibly grateful. He's stable, even stubborn, and I'm more like the butterfly, you know, and he keeps me grounded. We've had two beautiful beings that they have a solid value system. They are not needing people, they are creating what they want in the world. They give a good value system to their children, and they stay truthful. They are dependable, you know, and they are healthy. I am so proud, because I felt that if we, at those critical times in life, had gone separate ways, it had been so much more for them to heal, for me to heal, and sometimes people need to do that to even get into the process they need to go through to become more whole. But I also see people falling into alcoholism and falling into drugging and falling into depression and this and that. I don't know if this was the best I could do as an ending question, but it was brought to my mind.
Yeah. Well, the simplicity of that message was be loving,
Truth.
be true.
And simple.
And simple.
And it was also those words that were given to me by my teacher, Leonard Orr, that came from his spiritual teacher, Bali, that I also visited up in the Himalaya with my son when he was 6 months old, living that simple life in the ashram, sleeping on a concrete floor with a baby in my sleeping bag, sitting there chanting words I didn't understand, feeling totally lost, but I still feel that I was given something on a deeper level of who I am today. Oh my God.
Oh, I don't know how to conclude this. Just so beautiful. You have just opened my heart in your sharing and your truth and your radiance. Just feels like a gift for me. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this work. I feel it's so important to bring this to the world. And I think the world is more open for it now.
So strong. Wow. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Your courage.
Yeah, I've been courageous and I am still.
Yeah, it touches my heart. Big inhale, big exhale. Thank you once again so much, Lena Kristina Tuulse, for your time and your sharing. And thank you for watching. And join me again next time on the Heart to Heart with me, Shakti Sundari.
I hope you will enjoy it.